Should I bag my grass clippings? What are these rust spots in my lawn? And how can I restore my wisteria vine? Folks, I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, folks, it is officially June and true to form, my email was filled with emails, questions, pictures from all of you over the weekend, and we really appreciate the feedback. Now, based on all that feedback that we've gotten from you, we actually selected 5 questions that we want to address here today. So buckle up, everybody. Let's jump right in. The first question is from Barbara. Tim, I did an experiment last year and bagged my lawn all season. My lawn seemed to do better than when I did not bag it in previous years. Is this what you recommend? So as a general rule, I always rake up my grass clippings. Now, I will be perfectly honest with you. If you don't do it, your lawn's going to be okay. In fact, there are some benefits to not raking up your grass clippings. Mainly, the leaves of the grass actually provide some moisture and water back into the soil. In addition, when they start to decompose, they actually provide food for the rest of your grass. So there are some benefits to leaving the clippings. But for me, the negatives simply outweigh the positives. Now, I am the type of person who typically will wait 6 to 7 days in between mows. Some of you are waiting 3 to 5 days, and what happens is your grass clippings are going to be an inch or less, which are obviously going to be much smaller. You're not going to see them sitting up on top of that healthy lawn. My grass clippings tend to be greater than an inch, and so they don't fall down in between the existing healthy grass, and they'll actually sit up on top of the grass, and the sun will hit them and they'll dry out, and then I'll have this, dead grass scattered all over my lawn, and it frankly just looks bad. So I always rake it up for that reason. In addition, if you don't rake it up, you can actually spread any lawn disease that you may have picked up. If it sits too long on top of the grass surface, it can actually damage the grass underneath it. I'm sure some of you have seen larger clumps of grass. You go to rake it up, it's been there for a couple of days, and the grass underneath it looks white or looks yellow. It's because it's actually killing it. So as a general rule, I always rake up my lawn. That's what we recommend here at Garden Sense and obviously over at Rosen's Online. Now, I do want to make one clarifying point. You mentioned the dethatching. Whether you choose to pick up your clippings or not pick up your clippings, that actually doesn't contribute to thatch buildup. Thatch buildup is actually when an existing grass plant, in this case, dies and the roots stay in the soil and the leaf and the stem just kind of wilts and drops down and it's going to sit on that soil surface. Enough grass does that, and over time it starts to build up. So the grass clippings actually aren't what create thatch. It's just the natural cycle of grass growing and then eventually dying and then returning back down to that soil surface. So when you dethatch, you're actually removing that thick layer. Now, what probably did happen is by raking up all of your grass clippings, you did actually, in a way, kind of do a minor dethatching process, and that's what happens with my lawn. I use a metal rake, and so every time I rake up the grass clippings, I'm actually doing a very minimal dethatching job, and so I don't get a lot of thatch buildup year after year, which is a good thing. That means my lawn's healthy. A little bit of thatch is okay. You want about a 1/4 inch or so, but once it starts to get 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of thatch buildup, it 100% impacts your grass, and we don't want that. So again, as a general rule, I always rake up my grass clippings, and we recommend that you do the same. The next question is from Richard. Hi Tim, I was hoping you could tell me what these rust spots are and how I can treat them. They are spreading like wildfire through my lawn. All right, thank you for sending in a picture. That's very helpful. This looks like brown patch, and this is really common for cool season grasses, and as you're finding out, it spreads really quickly. Now, the good news is it's relatively easy to clear up, and the product that we recommend is actually a product by Advance called Fungus Control for Lawns. And again, it's available over at rosensonline.com. We sell quite a bit of it, and the reason we like it so much is because it's curative, but also preventative. So get it down on your lawn now. It's going to help clear up the brown patch. And then again, read the label. You can continue to put it down throughout the summer, and that's going to help prevent brown patch and a number of other lawn diseases from coming back. So head over to rosensonline.com, pick up a bag of Advanced Fungus Control for Lawns. You'll be glad you did. The third question is from Grace. Hi, Tim. How long after spraying lawn weeds using Image All-in-One can the lawn be mowed? I sprayed on a Tuesday morning and my maintenance crew arrives on Wednesday afternoons. Alternately, after mowing, how long to wait to spray for weeds? So as a general rule, 24 to 48 hours between the time you spray to the time you mow is going to be fine. The chemical is going to do everything that it needs to do to the weed during that time frame. Now, if you did this Tuesday morning and your maintenance crew doesn't come till Wednesday afternoon, I believe you're going to be totally fine. Image All-in-One is a very popular product. We absolutely love it, and it's very effective. So having it down on the weeds for more than 24 hours, you're going to be just fine. Now, in terms of the second half of your question, which was how long you should wait to put it down after you've mowed, it really depends on how well the weeds respond to the mowing. And what I mean by that is how fast they come back. See, when you put down any type of weed killer, you want to make sure that there's a lot of leafy surface of the weeds for that chemical to stick to. So if you've really chopped your lawn down and those weeds, although they still exist, don't have a lot of new leaf growth, the weed killer is actually going to not be as effective. So for me, when I do use weed killers, I will tend to wait until my grass is a little bit longer and probably needs to be mowed. I will put down the weed killer, I'll wait 48 hours, and then I'll mow the grass. And again, that's because I want as much leafy surface for that chemical product to stick to the leaves of the weeds to be effective. So thanks for the question. The next question is from John. Hi Tim, I wonder if you could help me revitalize our old dormant wisteria vine. We've had it a long time, but several years ago our son cut most of it down, leaving the heavy trunk with green foliage each year, but never seen any more blooms. Can you recommend a fertilizer or treatment product you sell to hopefully bring out the beautiful blooms it once had every year? So wisteria vines usually do not need a whole lot of fertilizing. However, given the situation that you're describing, what I would actually recommend you do is put down some garden trust right now and make sure you also put down some kickstart. The kickstart's going to help the root system of that wisteria plant take in more of that garden trust. Typically what happens is there's just not enough phosphorus in the soil right now, and so it's just not being able to bloom. So with something like a garden trust, it's going to give it the nitrogen to really help with the foliage, but that phosphorus boost is really going to help the plant in terms of its blooms, and really that's what garden trust is designed for. Fruit producing trees, vegetable gardens, and obviously flowering plants. So head over to Rosens Online, pick up some garden trust, get it down right now, and then put down some kickstart. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you, it's not going to do anything for it right now. But what we're trying to do is build up that nutrition profile, get it nice and healthy so that next spring you should start to see some buds and it will hopefully bloom. So get down garden trust right now. I would give it kickstart a couple of times just to kind of help jumpstart it, so to speak. And then I would continue to use kickstart once a month. Then next spring, in that early March timeframe, I would put down some more garden trust. And again, really try to baby it with kickstart so that it can start taking up that nutrition, and eventually it is going to come back and start producing some blooms for you. The last question is from Margaret. Tim, can I spread weed control gallery for the first time in June? Can I spread starter fertilizer and weed control to a lawn just seeded? So you do not want to put Gallery down now. It's not going to do anything. Again, Gallery does not kill existing weeds. It just prevents new ones from popping up. And unfortunately, all of the prevention that Gallery provides, it would have been more effective a couple of months ago. In fact, we recommend that you put it down in mid-March to help prevent those weeds that will germinate in the spring and start to pop up. And so we missed that window. And so what I'd actually do is hold on to that bag of Gallery, and I would actually apply it in the fall. There are a number of weeds that will actually drop their seeds in the fall, and what we want to do is prevent that those seeds from germinating, getting down into the soil. And so that's a great time to put down Gallery because it's actually going to prevent that from happening. So you want to put Gallery down in the early spring, you know, in that March 15th time frame, or you want to put it down in mid-fall. And again, that's really just to prevent any of those weeds from dropping their seeds, those seeds working their way into the soil, and again, ultimately they would germinate. So that's when we want to use Gallery. Now, in terms of the fertilizer, absolutely, you want to put starter down right now, and you can put it down the same day that you seed. It's not going to harm the seed at all, and we would actually recommend that you do that. So once that seed is down, put down that starter fertilizer immediately. Now, you also mentioned if you can put down Gallery when you seed, and the answer is no. If you seed, you cannot put Gallery down until that new grass has matured to the point where it's been mowed, 2 to 3 times. At that point, it's mature enough and you can safely put down Gallery. So if you are seeding right now, then again, I wouldn't even mess with Gallery again until the fall. It's not going to be effective in terms of preventing anything right now. Anyway, Gallery and Turf Truss are available over at rosensonline.com. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. As a reminder, folks, it's now June, and we always recommend that you feed your lawn its second feeding around the middle of June. So head over to rosensonline.com right now and take advantage of the Turf Truss Summer Stock Up Special. Folks, this is 3 bags of Turf Truss fertilizers. It comes in the 10M as well as the 5M size, and it's available in both the starter or the maintenance formulations. So again, for your second feeding, head over to rosensonline.com and pick up everything you need. You're going to get a break on the price. It's going to qualify for free shipping. And obviously, the timing for this special is perfect because you want to feed your lawn right now. So head over to rosensonline.com and take advantage. Folks, I also want to remind everybody that once we have, crossed over from the spring and we're now in the summer, you really want to start using Kickstart at least once a month. Again, this is a product that's going to really help strengthen the root system of your lawn, but it works for any plant. You can use it for your trees, your shrubs. You can use it in your gardens. You can use it in your vegetable gardens. It's a very, very versatile product, but overall, it's going to help strengthen the root system of those plants and allow it to take in more nutrition. So in the case of your second feeding for your lawn, when you put down Turf Truss, you also want to make sure that you're putting down Kickstart so that it can take in all of that nutrition and help make your lawn look absolutely gorgeous throughout the summer. Now, folks, I got a ton of emails over the weekend, and we love when we get all these emails, so make sure that you continue to send them directly to me. Send an email to tim@rosensonline.com. Give me 48 hours or so to respond. Again, folks, I've said it many times, your emails are what help us build this video podcast each and every week. So send your emails directly to me, tim@rosensonline.com. Folks, as always, we really, really appreciate the time that you spend with us each and every week. I hope that all of you have an amazing rest of the week. God bless.